Fall forward from grief. How do you find the magic in the tragic? In July of 2017, I lost my son Hudson. He had just celebrated his 20th birthday and had his whole life in front of him. He was a thriving college student, an athlete, and a musician, and everyone that knew Hudson loved him. When Hudson was in high school, he wrote a speech called Fall Forward.
Fall forward. This is what I mean.
That speech became his legacy. In that speech, he says, don't wallow in past mistakes.
Not backwards, wallowing in past mistakes.
I have taken those words to heart and focused on living my life that way. In his speech, he urges people to never give up. And yet, ironically, Hudson took his own life after being prescribed medications that his body couldn't handle. My beautiful son was gone, but I knew there was something bigger that he left me here to do. So I fell forward, and the old me that existed before he died was gone. I had to stop second-guessing his life, and I had to start celebrating it. And when I did that, people and situations started showing up to show me exactly how much magic was happening right in front of my eyes. So not really knowing what to do, I got to work on his legacy. I started 2 nonprofits. I got an RV and I drove to 30 states in 30 days spreading kindness in honor of my son. I called it Fall Forward Across America, the Kindness Tour. As a random act of kindness, the RV was donated to me by some friends from our marching band years. Magic seemed to follow us everywhere we went, and I couldn't help but wonder if maybe a kindness tour showed up in front of Hudson that day that he decided to leave, that maybe things would have been different. But I knew that this trip needed to happen, and I knew that it was inspired by Hudson. We created a coloring book in his likeness. My favorite page of the coloring book says, love yourself, love the earth, love each other. And that really captured who Hudson was. We commissioned a girl we met online to create his coloring book for us. She happened to live in Transylvania. She was so drawn to Hudson's story that Inya actually started to feel like family, and there was just this connection that I can't explain. 2 years after that, I got a random invitation to fly to Transylvania for Dracula's party at his castle. It didn't even dawn on me that I would be flying to Transylvania right where Inya lived. But when she saw that I was flying there, she contacted me and said, hey, you are coming to my country. So we made it happen. We met in Transylvania. And the night before, Inya had had a dream that I was wearing a white furry coat, and there I was in my white furry coat.
And how crazy is this world? It's fantastic.
Inya and I have become lifelong friends, and it was Hudson's story that brought us together. It was just another moment that showed me that something bigger than me was happening around Hudson's story. So as I posted more of these stories to my social media, I was connecting with more and more people. I was realizing that we were all connected by our stories, and something magical was bringing us all together. A woman from Canada ended up seeing my story and asked if she could do a painting of Hudson. So I sent her a few pictures, and a few weeks later, this beautiful painting of my son arrives at my house. The likeness is uncanny, and the eyes on the painting are so real that when I look at it, I can feel his presence. As a matter of fact, on my daughter's birthday this year, I looked in the eyes of that painting, and I looked in Hudson's eyes, and I said, Hudson, you should be here for your sister's birthday. And in the back of my mind, I heard him say, Mom, I am. And right after that, I walked out the door and looked up at the sun, and there was a huge rainbow circling the sun. And I knew that that was for my daughter for her birthday. It actually seemed to take the shape of an eye. And I called my daughter and said, I know this is for you. Your brother's looking down on you, always. When I posted that story, it reached a man in California. He too had been touched by loss. Our connection was so strong that I truly felt like I had met my soulmate. This picture was taken the moment that I met Bobby, and the rest is history. After meeting him one time, I flew back to Florida and decided that I needed to sell my house of 30 years and everything that was in it and move to California where he was. And so that's what I did. Hey guys, for those of you that didn't think I could get out of my house with only a car full of stuff, I did it! So I headed to California and I never looked back. And here we are a year later, living our dream of building Sprinter vans together, all because of Hudson's story. You see, had I have given up, or had I have numbed myself when all of this happened, I never would have been able to see or experience all the magic that happened around my son. He inspired me to go to schools and speak to young kids and talk to them about their mental health. I have reached thousands upon thousands of children just because of Hudson, and I hope that maybe he saved a life. He inspired me to drive around the country and spread kindness. I would have never done that if it wasn't for him. I would have never thought of that. I never would have met so many amazing people from around the country. He showed me the magic of believing that anything is possible. He taught me to fill the pain in my heart with joy and laughter. And now I get to share that with my little grandson, Brax. So while I will miss him every day for the rest of my life, I believe that there's a plan, and I believe that there was something that Hudson had to do that was so important that he couldn't do it here. And when it was his time, it was his time. So I don't focus on why he left or when he left or what happened that day. I focus on what he left behind, his legacy, his life, his laughter, his smiles, his dancing. That's what I focus on.
You're sexy, you're fine, you're sweet like a lollipop. I blow my mind like a white girl booty. You're so...
He was and always will be my sunshine. And for anyone who might be struggling right now, Hudson has a message for you.
Never give up. Never give up. Never, never, never give up.
Never give up. Life is a beautiful adventure. Stay here and experience it. And for any of you parents out there that have gone through this, my heart is with you. And together, we can get through it. And I encourage you to fall forward.